Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. I'm RexFinance, and today we're going to be talking about the ever so famous Tesla and Tesla stock in particular. They have an earnings announcement coming up on Wednesday, and we're going to be doing a deep dive, a deep earnings preview video on this great company that's just skyrocketed and has led the electric vehicle industry in the stock market to this point. Now, I first have to say, what the heck? My previous video got 12,000 views. It has over 12,000 views right now, and I've gained over 500 new subscribers from that video. So if you guys are new here from that video, I just want to say welcome to my channel and thanks for joining us and being a part of this movement. Speaking of which, we are nearing 6,000 subscribers. The growth has been unreal. I expect it to continue, so don't be the reason it doesn't continue. So if you're new or returning and not yet subscribed, if that subscribe button is not grayed out and does not say subscribed, you are doing it wrong. So on that note, because that video did so well and has done so well and continues to do well, I didn't upload on Wednesday or Friday like I normally try and do because I have a theory that the YouTube algorithm stops pushing those videos that are doing well if you upload a new video. So I really wanted that video to keep gaining traction so that I could help more and more people out with the company I was looking into. By the way, if you've not seen that video, check it out. I'll leave a card up there and there'll be a link down in the description as well. So first up, I am not a Tesla bear by any means. My rags to riches story is with Workhorse Group. I bought that company below $3, and now that company is almost a $20 stock and even hit those levels previously, and I really expect them to re-hit those levels here really soon. So, Workhorse is part of the electric vehicle sector. They are their own niche in the electric vehicle sector. They produce and manufacture electric delivery vehicles and electric delivery drones. So, if Tesla stock is doing well, Workhorse stock is doing well, and Workhorse is the bulk of my portfolio. So if Tesla does well, I do well. So I am by no means a Tesla bear, so don't get that stance from me from anything I say in this video. However, I am also not a Tesla bull. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, has a history of overhyping or being a little too aggressive with his announcements and his dates of his expectations of when vehicles are going to start delivering. All that stuff. He's a little too aggressive, so lots of times the dates he originally projects get pushed back or extended, and it's still a pretty realistic possibility that Tesla could go bankrupt easier than people think. Now, if there's one thing anybody has learned in the stock market, especially from Tesla, it's that you never bet against Elon Musk. He is the greatest seller of his company, and he is the greatest financing and capital raiser in the world. So you're also very stupid to bet against the CEO of Tesla. So I am not a Tesla bear and I'm not a Tesla bull. So this video is going to be coming to you guys from a neutral stance. I hold no position in the company. So you may be wondering, why, Rex? Why did you pick this earnings date to be your first video of an earnings preview, especially with Tesla stock? Why is this earnings date so important for Tesla? Well, it's important because of a multitude of things, but the headliner is that Tesla could become a part of the great S&P 500. The S&P 500 is an index that weighs the performance of 500 large companies that are publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange. So the next question might be, why? Why is this so important? Why is inclusion in the S&P 500 such an important milestone for a company? Well, that is because if you get included in the S&P 500, there are many funds out there that are forced to buy shares of that company. There are many different index funds, mutual funds that directly follow and are invested in the 500 companies that are included in the S&P 500. So if a company joins that group of companies, there's a lot new capital and a lot new money that are purchasing more shares of the company, which in theory raises the stock price. So your next question might be, what are the requirements for inclusion in the S&P 500? If this is such a big deal, what are the requirements? As a Tesla shareholder, what are the requirements for my company to be a part of the S&P 500 and bring in a whole new group of investors? And there's a great article that was recently done by Barron's where it talks about the requirements for joining the S&P 500 and what that would mean for Tesla stock in particular. I'll leave a link to this article down in the description if you want to read through it word by word. I'm not going to be reading it to you guys, so if you want to do that on your own time. I'm just going to be highlighting the key points of this article. So if we scroll down, we can see right here that it makes it very clear that there are two requirements in particular that Tesla shareholders should be concerned or focused on in order to meet the requirements for inclusion in the S&P 500. And those two requirements are a positive GAAP profit over a 12-month period and positive earnings in the most recent reported quarter. GAAP stands for Generally Accepted Accounting Principles, for those of you that do not know that. So the first requirement, a positive GAAP profit over the trailing 12 months. So if we look at their profitability over the past 3 quarters, which would be 3 quarters of a year, so not 12 months yet, but this is the past 9 months, they have been profitable in their previous 3 quarters. 3 quarters ago, they turned a profit of $143 million. 2 quarters ago, they turned a profit of $105 million. And last quarter, they turned a minuscule profit of $16 million. This number adds up to around $264 million of GAAP profit over the past 3 quarters. So that means if Tesla loses equal to or more than $264 million this quarter, if they report a $264 million loss, they will not be net GAAP profitable for the last 12 months, meaning that they would not meet that requirement and they would not be eligible to join the S&P 500. And if we look at an email that Elon Musk sent out to employees at the end of June, he says, "For many reasons, a great deal of Tesla execution worldwide is packed into the final week of the quarter. It is very important that we go all out through the end of June 30th to ensure a good outcome. For many reasons, a great deal of Tesla execution worldwide is packed into the final week of the quarter. It is very important that we go all out through the end of June 30th to ensure a good outcome. Wouldn't bring this up if not very important. Thanks, Elon." So, this tells me that Tesla is fighting. They were fighting to be net profitable for this quarter. So this is also telling me that there's a real likelihood that they did not turn a profit in the most recent quarter that was affected by the Rona. However, I would also say there was an equal chance that they did turn a profit. Now, the profit isn't going to be blow-away numbers. It's going to be a smaller profit, like the 16 million, 18 million number around there that we saw in the last quarter. This means that they are so close to break even. And remember I said, they just need to turn better than a loss of $264 million. The fact that Elon Musk is really trying to break even or turn profitable, he sent this email out in the last week of the quarter. That tells me that they were very close to being profitable or break even, which means that their profitability or their net loss wouldn't even come close to the $264 million they would need in order not to meet that requirement that would allow them to join the S&P 500. So the second requirement that most Tesla investors or prospective investors are looking at is that they need to have positive earnings in the most recent quarter. If we look at this quarterly chart, we see that they reported 78 cents EPS 3 quarters ago, 71 EPS 2 quarters ago, and in the most recent quarter, they only reported 0.08 EPS or earnings per share. Now, this needs to be a positive number. If we see it go negative like it was 4 quarters ago at negative $2.31 earnings per share, they again would not meet that requirement and would not be able to join the S&P 500. So the fact that their EPS was declining over the past 3 months just adds more risk to this investment if you're a short-term trader. However, I do personally think they're going to report positive EPS. I'm not sure where the profitability number will be at, but the fact that they would need to lose $264 million makes me very confident that they will be joining the S&P 500. So as I went over earlier, the addition to the S&P 500 would be huge for Tesla shareholders, especially because more funds and capital would be coming in and acquiring more shares from funds that track the S&P 500, who are practically forced to buy these 500 large companies that are in the S&P 500. And honestly, if Tesla is added to the S&P 500, we're going to see Tesla at $2,000 per share easily in the short term. However, if they are not added, that can be very, very bad for Tesla shareholders. Some funds have started adding Tesla shares in anticipation of them joining the S&P 500. So what would happen if they don't get included in the S&P 500? So if Tesla was not included in the S&P 500, these money managers, these hedge funds, might sell out of their position because they're not willing to accept that risk of not returning a good return rate for their investors. In addition to that, some Tesla shareholders already have the inclusion in the S&P 500 priced into their valuation. This means that, again, if Tesla is not included in the S&P 500, a lot of these investors that assumed they would be added to the S&P 500 might be willing to take their profits, again, because they're not willing to take the risk of investing in a company that's not part of the S&P 500. Also, it's inevitable that more shorts would hop on the short train against Tesla stock. Again, earlier I said you have to be crazy to bet against Elon Musk. However, what I say doesn't stop short sellers from piling on. If they weren't added to the S&P 500, short sellers would see that as a very, very bearish thing for Tesla stock. But what are my thoughts? RexFinance, what are your thoughts on Tesla and investing in the company at the current prices? I have to be honest, buying in anticipation of this earnings report and inclusion in the S&P 500 is a gamble. Because if they don't get added into the S&P 500 for whatever reason, the share price is going to plummet to possibly $1,000 per share. And recently, Tesla lowered the cost of their vehicles across the board. This means that they were having some demand issues. Now, if the lowered cost of the vehicles fix that issue, we'll have to see in this earnings report, but that just adds even more risk to the disclusion of Tesla in the S&P 500. So the upside is very immense, but so is the downside. If they get included in the S&P 500, we're going to see $2,000 per share Tesla stock immediately. However, if they are not included, we could see Tesla go all the way back down to $1,000 per share from profit takers. So, what am I saying? If you're a short-term investor, if you're looking at Tesla stock as a short-term play, no, I do not recommend buying it because the risk is not worth you losing all of that money if the share price would decline to $1,000 per share. However, if you're a long-term holder, meaning you're going to hold Tesla no matter what for the next 3 to 5 to 10 years, then yes, buy into this company now. It's well worth the risk of the Tesla stock price plummeting to $1,000 per share if you can stomach that short-term loss. However, it's inevitable that Tesla stock is going to be worth more in 5 to 10 years than it is today. And you might be able to make a quick buck if the risk goes your way. So if you're a short-term swinger or investor here, I would say no, do not buy in anticipation of this earnings call. However, if you are a long-term investor and can stomach some short-term pain, I would say yes, go ahead and buy this company because it's well worth your risk. So in closing, that's all I had for you guys today. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like down below. Also comment and tell me how many shares, if any, of Tesla stock you own and at what price you bought them at. I always think that's super interesting. And with that, guys, have a great couple of days. I hope to be back on Wednesday, but there's a great chance that this video could gain some traction and get a lot of views, and I might just let it accumulate views over time. But on Friday, I will for sure have another video out. Again, if you guys are new or returning and not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button for me. Peace out.